Look how beautiful it is down here. Even on a grey, wet morning, it's still so beautiful on the water. Look how calm the river is. There's definitely something about being on the water that just calms you and soothes you. Yeah, we're missing it a lot, but it's really nice that we can come out the back of the shed and we've got the water right here, just behind us. Anyway, good morning. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, YouTube world. You see that there's the transom of, that's Gizmo, which is a beautiful M&M, big catamaran. And then here, looks like anchored out there is a new, doesn't look so old, it looks like a new Super Maramoo, which are very popular in Europe. And you see a lot of them cruising across the Pacific and around the world. And then here we've got Kato, which is the fantastic big shining cat that gets around Australia's east coast. We've got some really amazing big multi-hulls here in Australia. And we've got some great designers. Alrighty, let's go in and have a little look at what we've been up to for the last week. It's been fantastic. We've been cracking out the work. And thank you very much, everyone, again, for all the comments. And thank you very much for everyone that commented about my eyes. I'll give you a little bit more information. Just my vision has progressively, the focus has gotten worse and worse over the years. And so I view that as a safety issue on the boat when I need to be searching for my glasses. If there's anything wrong in the engine room or if something goes wrong up on deck at night, I'm in the back cabin and I need to get up quickly and I need to react fast. I need my vision. And I'm searching for my glasses. And in a difficult situation, if we're at sea, especially because we sail two up, you know, it's mostly just Chloe and I. So when there's just the two of you on the boat, you have to do everything you can to minimise, the dangers and just to increase the safety. So if I need to get up in the middle of the night, if there's an issue with the steering, you know, I've got glasses on my face, I'm trying to lean over the back deck, there's waves breaking, there's water on the glasses, you can't see properly, you're trying to do up, you know, a bolt or something to do with the steering. It just adds another layer of complexity to trying to fix something. And it also means that if I don't have my glasses, I can't see, which means I can't navigate, I can't source problems, I can't fix things. And that's something that I really didn't enjoy. I have to say, for me, I really want to be able to not need any other equipment to be able to do a job. And having to wear and find glasses all the time was a hindrance. And major safety concern. I don't want to have glasses to be able to see, so they can change your lenses now instead of having to get new glasses every year. As your eyes slowly change, they can just change your lenses. So it's an interocular lens replacement, they call it. Anyway, that's enough of that. Let's have a look at this awesome boat and talk about what we've been doing. So we've been working up here on the bow. We've got the pad installed and fed. This is where the forward cleat will go. It'll run fore and aft like that. And I've really beefed it up in here. Put a big pad underneath. And we've put 3 layers of biax on top here. And we've put a nice fiberglass plate on top for it to sit on. So yeah, plenty of strength there. We've also put in the wear plate. We've got to fair that today. We'll fair it and then we'll get some PPG over the top of it. But yeah, this is non-structural, so we've glued that to the deck, we've faired it, and then we've run some fiberglass tape up the middle of it to give it something to wear on. So yeah, pretty happy with the way that's come along. It's looking really good. And then that just gives the chain something to wear on. Instead of wearing through the deck and the deck paint, it wears through this PVC pipe and fiberglass. So we've put glass in the bottom of it to give it some extra wear capabilities. And yeah, anchor lockers come up really well. We'll go down and have a look at that. We've been working on and fairing in. We put some glass tape over the top of the, you see here, we've got some glass tape there over the top of these old bolt holes, and then we've faired it. Same on the other side. Chloe has been, both of us have been grinding a lot in here. So we're getting all these areas ready, but the main thing is grinding up underneath. That's a hell of a job. And yeah, we've spent all last week doing that, just trying to do as best a job as we could. And make sure that we've got a really nice clean surface to bond to. When you're grinding and you're preparing these areas, what you want to do is you want to grind through to the laminate. You know, you really want to be adhering to the fiberglass and the epoxy below. You don't want to just grind through the top layer of paint or the paint and the primer, and then to be bonding to the filler or to be bonding to the primer. You really want to bond to the substrate underneath, which is the fiberglass and the epoxy. But at the same time, you don't want to grind too far. You don't want to grind into the glass, because you're going to reduce the strength of what's there. So it's really a fine line of removing, all the paint and primer and the high build and the fairing material, and getting all the way down to the fiberglass below, but at the same time not going through that fiberglass and not grinding off any of it. Trying to keep its strength. And that's always a balance, and it's always very difficult, especially when you're working from underneath. It's not so easy. And that's why we try and do as much as we can downstairs on the bench, making these knees, doing them downstairs on the bench, the same with that back bulkhead, making it, but then building it down on the bench downstairs. Forward here in the anchor locker, you see I filled in these 2 holes the other day. This is where the forward head comes through. This is the water in for the toilet, and then that's the toilet exit through the hole. Those pipes are coming through here, but because we're lowering the floor a little bit in this cabin, it meant that the pipes are in the way, so we've just moved them down a little bit. Cut new holes, epoxied those holes as well. So we've epoxied, I've done 2 layers of epoxy in here. It protects the plywood, as this is just a plywood bulkhead. And then fill that. We've got the, can take these clamps off so we can get in a little bit better. But yeah, this is the hatch. So that's the hatch for the anchor locker, watertight little round hatch, which is fantastic. And then here's the anchor locker. We'll fair that and paint it today. and then that goes on the front there. We will put a couple of little hooks here, so we'll have some towel hooks there, which is really cool. And yeah, that anchor locker is an absolute beast. I think it's probably the strongest part of the boat. It's it's a beast. So really happy with the way that's come up. Done a great job there. We'll fair this in and then we'll paint it. And yeah, it'll look awesome. Just done some nice little coves around the edges. So it just needs to be faired up, and then we'll give it a nice little sand. You can see inside the locker down the bottom there's a heap of layers of glass running up and down the walls. And there's also a big plate of thermalite in the bottom. And then you can see I've put a big drain in overboard. And then you can see there's a big solid fiberglass backing plate up underneath the winch as well. So right there will be the motor, which is good because the wires will just run straight through here, straight across, and then into the cupboard there where the solenoid is. Whereas before they used to run all the way forward into the anchor locker and then forward even further and across the boat. So the wire run will be a lot shorter. We'll probably lose a metre, which is great. And that's going to give us a lot better access. We can open this. We've got the shower here as well. So if we ever want to hose out this locker, we can let all the chain out when we're on a sandy bottom somewhere. You let out the 80 metres of chain. You get the little shower hose in the forward head here. And then, yeah, you can get into the locker and you can hose it all out. And the nice thing, as I said in previous videos, is that Cloudy doesn't need to flake the chain anymore. There is enough drop from the windlass at the top here all the way to the bottom of the locker, so she doesn't have to flake the chain. And, I just mentioned the safety aspects of things with my eyes. It's the same thing with the anchor chain. There's a couple of things that, living on boats all your life teaches you over time. And that is that, you really want, there's certain situations where you don't want to have things go wrong. And that is when you're starting your engine. If you ever need the engine, you really need the engine to go. So you always want to look after your engine, make sure the fuel filters are changed regularly, your impeller's in good condition. Just make sure that the engine is well kept. The battery for the starter itself, all the belts. Just make sure everything's well looked after. Another thing is your chain locker. If you're somewhere and you're anchored in a bay and you need to move quickly, you don't want, especially when you're two up, to have someone inside the boat flaking the chain and the other person on the bow lifting it. You really want to be able to have one person behind the helm and one person picking up the anchor. And that person picking up the anchor, you don't want them to have to worry about flaking the chain in a chain locker. You want to be able to press that button and pick that chain up as quickly as possible, and to be able to move away from whatever the danger is as quickly as possible. And that's really the main reason why we've moved the anchor locker aft. It's so that Chloe can just press the button and pick the chain up straight away, no messing around, and we can get away from danger if that's the issue. And at the same time, it's allowed us to bring the weight of 80 metres of chain, which is, a couple hundred kilos. It's allowed us to bring that 4 metres aft, or about 3 metres aft. So we're getting rid of the weight out of the front of the boat. And anyone that knows performance multi-hulls, they don't like weight at either end of the boat. They really like you to centralise the weight. You'll get a much better ride out of the boat as well. So we've got the weight further aft, and we've also got the electric motor and the mechanical bits of the anchor winch further away from the wet end of the boat. So if the bow's got spray and it dips, it's a lot drier back here. Also, it's a lot easier for us to access it from inside the boat. We don't have to go outside and up forward to access the anchor chain now. Now we can access it from inside the boat. We can also wash all of that locker out with the hose and fresh water a lot easier as well. So we can maintain it and we can look after it a lot better than what we could when it was on the bow of the boat. So there's some really good reasons why we're moving the anchor, well, why we've also put so much effort into moving the anchor locker aft. Yeah, decks, not a lot of sanding been going on the last week. We've really been focused on grinding and getting this ready, getting this area up here ready for the cabin top, which we really hope to have up here by the end of this coming week or early next week. So really been working hard to prep that area. And that's been a lot of work. It's just really time consuming. And especially to do things, you know, as well as you can, it just takes time. But it's looking really good. We're really happy with the way everything's coming up. I will walk down the back here as well. I've done some work. We've got the rudder box back in. So we put the wear plates on and then we put the rudder box back in. And I've just been glassing down the back step there the conduit on for the dowel, which is like a brake. So if we ever hit something at speed, there'll be a little fiberglass batten that slides in there and it'll break. And then obviously you walk down the back, you push the rudder back down and you push in a spare batten. So it acts like a fuse. Acts like a bit of a fuse in case you hit something. But yeah, we got that faired, got those layers of glass on there. I'll just move the ladder over so that I can show you a little bit more about what's been going on up here as well. So also I've put a rope loop on the back. I got some Dyneema and then and I'll show you in another video, but it's all taped up at the moment because we only did this yesterday. But I put a cover over it, Dyneema cover, and then Dyneema through the cover. It's about 6mm Dyneema. And then I just splayed it out. And then I've used some Biax and I've glassed it on and then compressed it. I put a compression over here using tape. So compressed it onto the back and then ran glass over the top and down the back. So we'll use this to lift the rudder up. If we ever want to lift the rudder up in shallower water, we can attach a halyard to this and we can pull it up, and that'll allow us to go into shallower water if we want. And then, as I said, if we're going along, we'll cut this here. We'll fair all of this in today, cut this, fair it all in and then paint it. I like it. It also gives you something to grab onto at the back of the boat. If you're coming up these are the steps on the back of the rudder. So as you come up the back of the boat, you've got something to sort of hang on to as you're getting out of the water, which is pretty cool as well. And that'll all be tidied up today. So these are all the little jobs that just take so long. There's been so many of these little jobs to do, but we're getting there, you know, like backfilling this edge. We're next season, I think we'll have a new rudder built. This is just, you know, it's very old. There's a lot of plywood in this, and I'd say there's been water ingress at some stages. So I'd really like to upgrade the rudder. And just to make it out of foam and newer materials. You know, there's a lot of plywood and wood in it, so it's very, very heavy. And I'd just like to make it a little bit lighter, and I'm sure we could get quite a lot of weight out of that. Yeah, I'm going to cut out the bench tops for the galley today, so we can start doing that. We've got that solid fiberglass plate here as well. That's getting ready to cut to replace for the floor upstairs in the saloon. We've fiberglassed on another coaming, that's for the anchor locker. So when we're at sea, we won't get water going up into the anchor locker. This will just protect it. And yeah, someone was asking why we're putting all these combings on the boat, and it's purely for that reason. It reduces noise for one. You get a lot of noise when you're at sea. You've got water coming past this hole all the time, so you get a lot of noise in that forward head. And not only that, but if we're really pitching and punching into it, you can get water shooting back up the sink. So we just put these little combings on it, and they work really well. I've got to fair that one in, and yeah, they just work really well. And these are the cockpit ones. Without these, what happens is at sea, when the boat's flopping from side to side, you'll get a big whack from a wave here, and water will shoot into the cockpit, in the hole in the cockpit. So that's what these are for. These are to stop the water shooting into the cockpit. This is the bilge pump, so I'm not going to worry about that. And then this one here is for the engine water outlet. It's like a separate hose for that. So I think it's just in case, yeah, there's a blockage with something in the exhaust that can come out here as well. It's a little bit odd. Bulkhead's sanded, and it's been faired and sanded, and it's pretty much ready to paint. But we will put that on upstairs at the same time we do the cabin top. That's it for now. It'll be painted in that upstairs. We've got gloss on the cabin top, which is unreal. Yeah, the cabin top just looks amazing. You can see we've got the bolt ropes in. We've just got to cut the slot, and we've marked where the windows are going to go. So this is the white. There'll be a little white band around the top. This will be black underneath, a big black band where the windows go. And then up here there'll be non-skid. We'll bring the non-skid pretty much right the way nearly to the edge, so that when you're standing on the edge you've still got a little bit of non-skid. It won't come over the edge, but it'll come fairly close to the edge. And then it'll come all the way back down here and then around. There'll be a little bit of white gloss around each of the hatches, and then the white gloss will be from there aft. So yeah, like a really very, very light, and it's really just like a white, like it's called Chevy white, and it's that's what we use as the deck paint, the non-skid. It's got like a slight grey tinge in it, but anyway, check out that gloss. It's looking fantastic, the cabin top. So yeah, we say by hopefully the end of this coming week, we will we'll be looking at putting that up on the deck there, which is just fantastic, because then it's really bonding that on, fairing it and painting it, and anti-foul paint the decks, and we're looking pretty good. So it's really cool, really, really cool. Feels like we are getting there, but it really is never ending. I think what's been really hard is that it's just a boat that has really not been well, sort of maintained or taken care of. So everything's had to be done. Everything with the rudder, pull the wires out, the steering cables out, the rudder off, the wear plates, fixing up the turning blocks for the steering. It's just endless. It's everything. And pretty much every penetration through the boat had to be pulled, had to be decored. And it just makes for a huge amount of work. This is a PVC pipe that we cut up for the wear plate. You can see that we've just cut a slit out of it, and that's what we're using on the foredeck for the wear plate. You see we've got the anchor winch up here. It's our windlass. And we're going to replace this bottom, new bottom with a new bearing and bush in it. But yeah, she's really coming along. Really like to repair some of these back edges and corners as well on the boat, but I'd also like to pull off the sponson band. You can see the old sponson band up here. I think it looks really dated, and it's really something from the US East Coast, because a lot of the marinas in the US are against piles, and they don't have huge tides there like we do in Australia. So floating marinas, they're becoming more and more popular now, but they're definitely not like they are in Australia. Most of our marinas here are floating because we have such huge tides. And to be honest, most marinas around the world now are floating. But in the Med and in the States, a lot of them you're tying to, in the Med, you med more, you go stern to a lot of places. And then in the States, a lot of it is old wooden docks, especially up in the northeast. So, yeah, you find the boats have sponson bands. Anyway, I want to rip that off. We're not marina people. We don't want to be marinas. We have a boat because we want to be at sea. So I really like to rip that sponson band off and to do a few of these repairs. But that'll probably be the next refit. We plan on doing this every year for a few years, pulling the boat out of the water and doing a few months' work on it. Boat back in the water, go sailing. Next year, same thing, pull the boat out. So, this refit was really just to do the mechanicals, the backbone of the boat, to make sure that the structure was okay, to get rid of all the penetrations, to stop water ingress into the core, to fix the damaged areas of core, replace that cabin top, move the windlass aft, fix the steering, do all of this maintenance, then get the boat to a level where she's sort of stable. And then progressively we will, make the boat look pretty. We'll paint the boat and, the exterior of the boat, but that'll be in a year or two. We're not really concerned with the way the boat looks. We're more concerned with the boat being safe and functioning properly and everything being well maintained and in a state where it's reliable and where we know it's going to work. We just want to build a very good, strong, reliable base of a boat that we can then build upon. And that's sort of been our goal. Been working on these knees as well. These are the little knees that are going to go in and support. So you can see they've come up really nice. That one's faired. And these two here, we've still got a fair. We've got the fairing compound on there, but just got to fair them. These are some of the paints we're using. This will be our interior paint. This is Altex Elite Refined 250. This is virtually this is a resine. This is a Uracryl, and we use this on Little Spirit, but now it comes in a different can with a different name, but it's the same paint. And we will use that. That's a low sheen. And it rolls on really well. So this is what we're going to use on the interior. It's a fantastic paint. We painted Little Spirit with it, and we rolled it on the outside of Little Spirit, and everyone thought that we'd sprayed the boat. It rolls on really well. It's a really nice product, easy to repair as well. This is the EPO. This is the PPG. This is another one. That's for underwater. It's an underwater primer, and then this is sort of above water. This is the Interplus. So this is what we're using in the engine room. It's the Interplus 1180. It's a multi-purpose. It's like a 2-pack. It's an epoxy. Very hard paint. Sticks onto everything, and you can recoat it. So we can come along one day, the next day, and recoat it. It has a chemical bond. What else? What are some of the other materials? Yeah, this is what we've been using. We had our paint matched, and this is what the boat's exterior white paint is. It's a white. It's an Allcraft 2000, and it's called the White 6427B. So we had at the Boatworks, they've got a really great marine store here, and the chap there, Casey, is fantastic with paints. So Danny polished up an area on the hull. He came down with his machine to match the paint, and that's what it gave us. So that's what we've sprayed onto the cabin top. So it's pretty happy about that. This is the Kinetics. This is the laminating resin that we're using, and that's the hardener for it. But that's what we use to laminate, the big laminations, and then we're just using West for most of the smaller stuff. And like, I'm not a boat builder, I'm a commercial captain, so and an engineer. I drive boats for a living, so when it comes to what products to use and how to do things, we really rely on professionals. That's why we seek the advice of people like Jamie and Danny, and they're boat builders. That's what they do for a living. They're professionals, and they have between them built a lot of boats. So they pretty much advise us on how many what sort of weight of cloth we need, what type of cloth, how many layers, which resin's better to use, because the kinetics takes longer to go off, but it's a harder resin than the West systems. One of them handles heat better than the other. So there's all of these things, and we rely on experienced boat builders for that advice. But it's really cool. It's cool to do this type of thing because you learn so much. You learn not just about the products, but just you learn easier ways to do things, and it's good fun. It's definitely hard work and it's very tiring, but it's good fun and it's really rewarding. You get to know your boat really well, and I think that's super important. This is our home, and this is going to take us around the world. Our plan, Chloe and I plan to take this boat around the world multiple times. We have no plan to stop. We just want to go sailing. We want to build a really good boat, a great platform to live on, and then we want to go sailing. So the beauty of doing these types of refits is that we get to know our boat really well. We know the boat back to front. Anyway, I'll just show you these little knees. Yep. So once we've got all of the roof and everything in, the cabin top in, we'll grind these edges back. We'll bond around here like this, and then these will get glued in. That one goes there like that. That'll just get glued in. And then you can see all we've got to do is run our finger down the edge there where the glue comes out, and then we just paint it. And it's done. You're not having to sort of be in here fairing, and it just makes for a really nice, easy installation. And then you just glue it in, and there it is, bond it in. Fantastic, really cool. And things are progressing really well. Hopefully next week we will be showing a video with the cabin top up, or at least getting really close to go upstairs. It'll have non-skid on it, and it'll start looking more and more like a cabin top. We did templates. We templated all the windows last week, so the templates are away at All Star Plastic, and they are making our windows, our Perspex windows, and we're having them moulded. The front ones are being moulded, even though it's only just a slight curve. We're having this shoulder window here moulded, and this front one here we're going to try and bend around, but we'll just see what happens. If we can't bend it, we'll have to have that one moulded as well. So we'll just play it by ear and see how we go. Like always, we really hope that everyone's going well. Thanks a million for all your comments. They really inspire us, especially as the weather gets colder and the mornings are darker and a little bit more grey. Your comments, really help to inspire us. And if anyone's got any questions, just write it in the comments. Be more than happy to try and answer any questions that anyone's got. Best wishes from Chloe and I. Hope you all have a great day. And all the best from us at Boatworks. Cheers, everyone.